Hi guys, and welcome to another Tutoring video. And today's video we're going to be talking about a few tips to help you get a 7 in your psychology IA. So tip number 1 is choosing a good research question. Your research question is the foundation of your IA. A good research question should be clear, specific, and manageable within the time and word limit of your IA. It should also be focused on a specific topic or aspect of psychology that you find interesting and relevant to your studies. Your research question should also demonstrate your understanding of key psychological concepts and theories that you have learned in your course. Not only this, but you also want to make sure to avoid asking a yes/no question or a question that is too broad or vague, and instead try and aim to come up with a question that requires analysis and investigation. Tip number 2 is conducting a thorough literature review. To write a strong IA, you need to demonstrate an understanding of existing research on your topic. You can do this by conducting a literature review, which allows you to identify any gaps in knowledge and potential areas of interest for you to explore. You also want to make sure that you use academic sources like journal articles, textbooks, and online databases to find relevant literature. Your school should give you access to websites where you can find these, so make sure to use them. You also want to make sure that you're taking detailed notes on your findings, including the methodology used in each study, the key results, and any potential limitations, because they could really help you when you're writing your IA. Tip number 3 is designing a strong methodology. Your methodology should be carefully planned to ensure that your results are reliable and valid. You should also choose appropriate methods of data collection and analysis that are relevant to your research question and hypothesis. For example, if you're investigating the impact of a certain intervention on cognitive ability, you may choose to conduct a randomized controlled trial with pre- and post-testing. Alternatively, you may choose to conduct a correlational study with surveys or questionnaires. In either case, make sure to detail your methodology, including the sample size, participants, and any potential ethical considerations. Tip number 4 is collecting and analyzing your data. Your data should be collected in a systematic and consistent manner, and you should always use appropriate statistical methods to analyze your data. You should carefully design your data collection tools, such as surveys or tests, to ensure that they are reliable and valid. Once you have collected your data, you should use statistical software to analyze your data and test your hypothesis. You should also use appropriate statistical tests and methods based on your research question and data type. Be sure to describe and explain your statistical analysis in detail in your IA. Tip number 5 is interpreting your results. After analyzing your data, you should carefully interpret your results and explain their implications for your research question and your hypothesis. You should also discuss any limitations of your study, such as the sample size or the methodology, and suggest future research directions as well. You should also try and use psychological theories and concepts to explain your results and tie them back to your research question. It's also better to try and find psychological theories that you haven't studied, as it shows a marker that you have a wider understanding of psychology as well. Number 6 is following the IB psychology criteria. I know this one goes without saying, but to achieve a 7 in your IA, you do need to meet all the criteria that is set by the IB. And it's really easy to miss something out, so you want to make sure that you keep checking back and making sure that you've met all the requirements and are providing everything that they want you to provide. The criteria include the research question, the methodology, data collection and analysis, interpretation, and the reflection. You want to make sure that you're constantly checking back and putting all the requirements that the IB wants from you in your IA. Tip number 7 and our final tip for the day is seek feedback and revision. This one obviously doesn't only apply to your psychology IA, but this applies to every single subject that you have in the IB. Your extended essay, TOK, it's really important to always get feedback because it can provide you with insights as to something that you've missed. It's also really important to get feedback from your teacher and your peers and revise your IA accordingly. You should always try and submit a final draft that is clear, concise, and well organized. You should always also consider feedback from your teacher and peers as constructive criticism. And you should always try and incorporate any relevant changes or suggestions. Finally, you want to make sure that you proofread your IA carefully and check for any spelling or grammatical errors. You also want to make sure to go over everything, make sure that you haven't missed out anything. Go over your sources, make sure that you've cited them correctly. It's such a waste to lose marks on sources being incorrectly cited. So you want to make sure that you have everything correctly. That's it for today's video. I wish you the best of luck in your psychology IA and any other coursework that you may have. And if you need any extra help, please don't hesitate and visit our website, tutorus.org, where we offer a free 15-minute session if it is your first time with one of our incredible tutors who have all completed the IB and have achieved 40 or above. So please don't hesitate to contact us or visit our website if you need extra help.